Hey everyone, this is 𝗖𝗹𝗹 from Alchemist Academy. Today we will be solving some reading reorder paragraphs, and these are the latest exam questions that have just been added to the PT's question bank. In order to solve them, we will be using our very own Alchemist AI, and I will be giving you step-by-step explanation as well as the storyline on how these reorders can be solved and how you can retain them in your memory. So let's start with these reorders. All right, everyone. So let's start with the latest reorder questions that I was talking about in the video. Let's have a look. So with reorders, we will be using some rules. We'll try to skim and scan. We'll understand what the reorder is about and have a look how to go about with it, okay? Now, first thing first, let's start with your reorders. Now, we should always skim and scan the reorder. So this is about a person who has written some kind of book. Okay, let's have a look at this. So it says that what I did is what you need to know, not an ordinary book. I would do, no, these cannot be the topic, sentences, okay? So in this case, what I think is, I'll go with this. For many years, I had been thinking of writing a book, okay? I wanted to write a book. Now, if you look at the first approach, I always say people that look for matching words, I can see the word book and I can see the word book over here as well. So not an ordinary book, but a literature book. Okay, look at the remaining. I would do extensive literature reading and think about how I could do well. What I did is what you need to know. So again, I can see a matching word over here, and I would go with this. And this cannot go as introduction, and this cannot go in between the sentences. So most likely it should be like this. Okay, for many years, I've been thinking of writing a book, not an ordinary book, but a literature book. So he's continuing the thought. I would do extensive literature reading and think about how I could do as well as they had done. What I did is what you will need to know. They had done, did, again, there's a connection in there. Okay, next, let's move with this. Okay, now in this case over here, we have, it's about drafts, completed draft, it's about draft. Okay, it's all about drafts, like making a draft of your assessment. So start this at least. What is this referring to? Your first draft is complete, but your paper is far from finished. In fact, it's like a continuation of something. The next step, okay, cannot be the introduction. You can revise. Okay, let's read this one again. Your first draft is complete, but your paper is far from finished. Okay, why is that? Whenever you find an introduction, convert it to a question and ask yourself the question, why is it? Why is it that it is far from complete? Okay, in this case, probably I will say that, let's read this. So why is it far from complete? You can revise individuals, you finish them as well. Okay, start this at least a week. What is it? This I don't understand. In fact, you don't. Okay, I would probably say the next step is to revise your paper and strengthen the content. Okay, because your paper and your paper, I can see two matching words. Okay, in this case, let's move forward. So it says over here, like, the next step is to revise your paper and strengthen your content. Okay, in fact, you don't need to wait, you can revise. Okay, I can see two matching words. I can put revise here as well, but you can revise as you finish them as well. Okay, start this. Okay, that's a bit tricky. In this case, I think it should be the next sentence over here. The next step is to revise your paper and strengthen your content. Start this. What is that this? Start the revision at least a week before your paper is due. You can revise individual paragraphs if you finish them as well. Oh, doesn't make sense because there's no connection. Okay, let's look at this one. What if I put it in this way? In fact, you don't need to wait until you have completed your first draft to start revising. Okay, that makes sense. Like it is saying that you can start this a week before your paper is due. Don't need to wait. You can start revising and you can revise individual paragraphs as you finish them as well. So I think this should be the right way. So understand the theme of this reorder. The reorder is saying that it's basically about drafts. Now, what your paper is not complete, right? So it's saying like your draft is complete, but your paper is not. Why is that? Because the next step should be that you should revise your paper. And you should strengthen your content. How can I strengthen my content? I have to revise, and I should do the revision at least a week before the paper is due. In fact, I don't need to wait until the paper is complete. You can start revising. And how can I start revising? As soon as you finish each paragraph, you start reading through it, okay? Okay, now moving forward to the next reorder, it is about them, transmit data, pandas. Okay, I think that this one is about pandas. Let's have a look. Now, with pandas, let's have a look. Now, we cannot put this GPS. People can attach a GPS. Okay, people. Okay, I will go with this one. People don't know pandas too well. Okay, one matching word that I could see is this. Now, people can attach a GPS to them. People. Them refers to your pandas. Okay. This GPS can transmit. If you look at this, the object of the sentence becoming the subject in a new sentence can transmit it every couple of hours for up to 2 years. Then it found 5 habitats. Pandas 5. It found 5 pandas habitats sometimes overlap. Then it. What is that? It. The GPS. Okay. Let's move forward. Okay. This is about parents, children. This is about school, and parents. Okay, let's have a look at this. Now, this one over here says that it's about open days in school. Okay, so in this, we can probably go with schools have different ways to let parents know how they can provide their education services. One of the common way is open days. Okay, so that's an example, like how can you do it? Open days are a good chance for parents to ask what they want to know. Okay. And there are times when parents can know what works for the children what works for the children will be doing at school. So parents, open days. So if you see, it definitely makes a pair. Next, whoa, that is a lot of data there. But good thing is I can see years. Okay, so it's about proportion, population, married, divorce, marriage, proportion. Okay, it's about marriage and divorce. I can understand this for sure. Let's look at it. Conversely is the opposite of something. Okay. At the same time, the proportion, no, at the same time, it means like you're continuing something. In 1986, 60% population aged 15 years and over were married, but it is, okay, could be an introduction. Let's look at the last one. The decline in marriage rates and the increase in divorce rates has led to a decrease in the proportion of population that is formally married. Okay, that makes sense because this is complete. This is what it is about, marriage and divorce, right? Okay. Why is that? Okay, read this again. The decline in marriage rates has increased, and the increase in divorce rates has led to a decrease in the proportion of population that is formally married. Okay. If you go with this, if you look at this, this has a bit of years in them. And if I was to use time sequence, I can see 1986 and I can see 2001. For sure, 2001 will be in the flip side. It will come after 1986 for sure. Okay. I can see 1986 is repeated twice in these two passages as well. So maybe they would come together. So let's have a look. In 1986, 60% of the population aged 15 years and over were married by 2000. And by 2001, this proportion had decreased to 55%. Okay. Conversely, the proportion of population aged 15 years and over who were never married increased from 29% in 1986 to 32% in 2001. The proportion, this is decreased, this is increased, and we are still in the same years. Okay. At the same time, the proportion of the population who were divorced increased from 5% in 1986 to 7% in 2001, while the proportion of population who were widowed remained at around 6%. Okay, look, I'm not too sure on this reorder, but one thing I can tell you that the years are correct. That should form a pair. Conversely is the opposite of this very statement. And then the rest of this, if I follow time sequence, then this should have been the right one over here. Okay, so I'm going to just leave this over here. All right, let's have a look what scores we get here. So we've got a perfect 90 there. That's good. That means all the reorders that we did in this plan were absolutely correct. Let's do a quick revision of all the reorders. So this is about the literature writing, the writer wanting to write a book. He's not writing an ordinary book. He wants to write a literature book. And he's done extensive literature reading. What I did is what you need to know. So this is like an individual statement. It cannot sit in between. So that's why I put it in conclusion. Okay, the next one. It was about drafts in your paper. So you can complete a draft, but your paper is not complete. Why is that? Because you should revise your paper and you should start the revision at least a week in advance. You do not need to wait till the end, and you can do it paragraph by paragraph. Understand it like this. This was an easy one that people don't know pandas. Now you can attach GPS to them. This GPS can transmit data. And this the GPS has found that the habitats overlap. Okay. This was also easy. School has different ways to let parents know what is that one way. Open days. What happens in open days is what parents can ask, and they can also see what will be offered for the children. This one was slightly tricky, but what I did over here is that if you look at the time sequence approach over here, you simply had to go with, I had matching years. So that was one reason. And it talks about almost the identical data. And with time sequence, I also looked at this, that this was supposed to be 2001 and this was supposed to be my topic sentence. One very important tip with reorders, when you do your reorders, when you pick up a certain answer, let it be. Do not waste your time. I hope that these reorders were clear to you and you got a very clear explanation and a good understanding about these reorders. And if you get them in the test, you do really, really well in the test. Now, one very important thing, if you're struggling with reorders or any other section of your PTE test, book a free one-to-one consultation with 𝗟𝗿𝗶 Academy in our Brisbane or our Gold Coast branch, or alternatively, you can click on try for free on the AI and you can try it for yourself and see how it goes. All right. You can also go to our YouTube channel and have a look at my webinars, which will help you to understand the different sections of your PTE test. So good luck for your test and do the best.